Oh, dang. That face that Youpi made. Okay, alright, I see where you guys are coming from now. This guy can clearly throw down. Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Hunter x Hunter episode 111. And this episode pretty much has three parts to it. The first and the last part are action, pretty legit action, focusing on Netero and Pito, pretty much. And the middle part is kind of just talking. Um, it's Zeno talking to somebody. We never see who it is, but he's talking to somebody about Netero and Netero. Well, I'm including Netero in this part, his section of the episode, but it's not really. He wasn't really talk. He didn't talk that much. He had like a couple lines at the end. It's mostly just a flashback, pretty much. Um, might as well talk about that first. Um, yeah, it's pretty much this flashback about him sitting on a mountain, standing on a mountain, throwing a bunch of punches, like 10,000 punches a day, I think. Yeah, he threw 10,000 punches a day, um, sitting and standing on this mountain for who knows how long, like 2 years or something like that, like a really long time. And it's it kind of sounds boring, but the way they did it, it wasn't actually boring. It really wasn't, which is mostly due to the narration. Like at one point, I think they were talking about how Netero had sped up his pace, and it said, something along the lines of after a certain amount of time. I don't remember how long it was. Maybe it was 2 years, but after a certain amount of time, um, I'll just say 2 years. After 2 years, Netero finally noticed a change. He had completed his 10,000 punches before sunset, or something along those lines. And it's the narration, the way they narrate the episode really it really makes you care more about what's going on, even if it's just Netero punching time after time. Um, it's kind of like a light novel, really. It gives you this light novel vibe, because when you have a light novel, you can put much more detail into it, and much more than you can in a manga. And in the anime, with all the narration, it kind of comes off as a light novel, so which is pretty cool. And other than the flashback, like I mentioned, there is that part with Zeno talking to someone, and at first he's kind of just talking about that thing from Naruto where if um, if two skilled warriors clash, they'll be able to read each other's thoughts. Like, Naruto's Rasengan and Sasuke's Chidori colliding. And he at first he's talking about that. Then he starts talking about Netero's Nen. And first he talks about how it's quiet. Netero's Nen is quiet. He also talks about how it can't be read or predicted or anything like that. You can't predict what Netero's going to do. And he actually ends up getting into his mental strength. And he says that Netero's mental strength is like it's up there. It's really really freaking high. And because of that, he's been able to live for a very long time. And he says that Netero was an old man back when he was still a baby, right? So Netero has clearly been alive for a very long time. Okay, and I think the last thing that Zeno mentioned was that Netero's strongest weapon, or not necessarily strongest, but his best weapon, is this thing called Guanyin Balde something. I'm not gonna try and pronounce it, but I'll just call it Guanyin. All right, it's this ability called Guanyin. All right, and after that it switches to Netero actually starting to use the technique, or at least I would assume it's that technique. But before then, let me just backtrack to the beginning of these action scenes. We see Netero and Zeno on top of this bird, and they jump off they form this dragon out of their aura, and they just send it down, and it ends up turning into this meteor shower, right? And it's all going towards the palace. And Pito, she notices them before they get into the range of her N, right? And she just at first she just directs it all upwards, but then she just stops it all together. And even after she notices the meteor shower, she's still able to sense Netero and go after him because her senses were all heightened. Right? She goes after him. She uses her Turk Sikora technique or something like that, and that ended up being a bad move because Netero was able to just take her out. Not I don't mean like beat her, but he he used he used the technique, and it's this undodgeable attack because of how fast it is. He's moving like his hands, doing all these motions and everything, and all of that stuff happened within a period of like a tenth of a second. Right? It's incredibly fast, and it looks like the attack's coming from one direction. It's actually coming from another direction, yeah, and it's an undodgeable attack, right? And it hits Pito, and she gets blown away. Right? She gets blown away, and Netero was trying to just get her out of the picture for the remainder of the battle. And Pito could tell she was going to be blown quite a fair distance away. She was going to be pretty far, right? And she sees Poof actually. She sees Shawa Poof flying towards the palace, and she tries to shout over at him, but he can't hear her. One, because she's being blown away pretty quickly, and two, because he's got a one-track mind, and he's just focusing on the king, flying straight for the palace, which is another bad move. A bad move on his part too, because Miriam told him specifically, like, I'm tired of you guys following me around. I'm tired of you guys doing all this. Yeah, you just go away. Just go away. Stay down there. Stay away from me. If you come up here again, I'm gonna kill you. All right. I'm done. I'm done with you guys. All right. Don't come here unless I call you. And Poof is gonna go over there anyway, which he's probably not going to be killed by Miram. I don't think so, at least. If Miram killed Poof in the middle of an attack, that would severely weaken their offensive abilities and capabilities and everything like that. I just don't. That would just be stupid. But then again, he gave an order and Poof would have disobeyed it, so his pride wouldn't allow him to just let him off. Who knows? Who knows? Well, manga readers do, but I'm not a manga reader. So. But yeah, she tries to call out to Shower Poof. It doesn't work. So instead, she activates she calls Dr. Blythe. I guess you could say activates. It's an ability. She makes Dr. Blythe appear, and we actually learn more about the ability there. It's used for healing. We know that much already. But apparently, when it's summoned, it can't move from that spot where it was summoned. Right? And it's also connected to Pito's tail, so she can't move. I think it was more than 20 meters away from it. So she creates Dr. Blythe right there in that spot, and she reaches that 20 meters, and she can't go any farther than that, no matter how much force is pushing her. Right? So I'm sure that caused her a decent amount of pain. I'm sure it hurt quite a bit, but she was able to stay there and not get blown away. And once the force dissipated, she was just able to deactivate Dr. Blythe and drop down to the ground. And when she dropped down to the ground, she saw all the meteors about to hit the palace, right? And that's pretty much it for all the scenes. Really, there was one scene earlier on where we see Gon and Kahlua and the entire gang, and Kahlua's watching Gon, and he sees the way Crunchyroll said it. It was Kahlua saw Gon's eyes sink into a deep, dark, silent coldness. That was how they described it. All right, so that tells you something about Gon's mindset right now. If you didn't know enough from back when he was about to kill Mora with the Jajanken. I can't believe they actually called it that. When he was about to kill Mora with Jajanken. And if you didn't know from there, then you know now. You know what Gon's mindset is like right now. If he sees Pito, Yeah. Alright, but well, there is one last scene here. It's when Gon and the others come out of the portal, and they all head toward. Well, not all of them. They don't all head towards the stairs. Ikago is controlling uh, Flutter, and he goes in a different direction. But yeah, mo pretty much all of them go towards the stairs, go around, and go up, and then they see Shoot is the first one actually. Shoot sees Youpi there. At first, he's kind of caught off guard, but then he's like he regains himself and he keeps going forward along with everyone else. And Youpi sees them and he gets up, and yeah, that's how the episode ends. And we see the preview for next episode. We see this fan art like picture of Miriam holding Komugi in his arms with blood stains on her well, not really a shirt, but on her clothes. Right? So I mean, does I would assume that Komugi dies. That would be my assumption, but I mean, oh yeah, I'm assuming that Komugi dies. Um, it's kind of, I won't say it came out of nowhere, but it's kind of shocking because the narrator, when she was first introduced, said that she was going to have a big impact on Mira, and she has already. But I just thought that she would continue to have a big impact on him. Like I didn't think her job would be over this quickly. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I mean, it's not like she didn't accomplish anything. She did accomplish stuff. She has already changed Mira. Right? So, you know, if she dies now, I would be satisfied. But I would also be satisfied if she didn't die yet. Um, well, her dying would be like the ultimate act of changing Miriam. So, but whatever. We also see Youpi get serious. You saw my reaction in the beginning of the video. I was gonna call it a reaction, but I just used to. You saw my reaction to it, and yeah, Youpi's getting serious. It should be pretty good, pretty good. I saw in the Crunchyroll comments people saying that the next few episodes are all probably going to be awesome, which I don't doubt. And this one was really good too. As a matter of fact, I thought it was great. So I'll give this episode a 9 out of 10. The execution of the episode was really good, mostly because of the narration, how they narrated a bunch of different scenes. It's just, it gives you much more detail, and it makes even things that could and should be boring, it makes them interesting anyway. And plus, there were just interesting scenes in this episode with, you know, Netero and Pito, you know. So I thought this episode was great. All right, but that's it for now, you guys. This episode of Hunter x Hunter gets a 9 out of 10. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.